everybody, this is Royce again with Serenity Journals. I just kind of wanted to let y'all in on how my mind works. It might scare a few people, but we'll work it out. Excuse me. I was going through some of my old leftover stuff, and I didn't even remember making these tags. Now, they were plain, the decorating one on them. But I pulled them out, and then I reached over and grabbed, let's see, here they are. I grabbed some of my handmade labels, and I grabbed some of my paper dolls. And I just put like 2 little labels and a paper doll on there. And of course I did the holes and the reinforcers and inked around everything. And I thought, this is my new inspiration. So it's kind of just how my mind works, is I just pick up something and then I get intrigued by it and I play with it, and then I go, okay. So the next thing I did was decided I really love those. So I sat down and made me a couple more master boards from old book page pieces, because that's what the base is behind these. So I did that, and then I want to do a very grungy journal again. I'm drawn to grungy journals. So I did a lot of coffee dyeing envelopes. I coffee dyed printed guest checks, layaway tags, plain guest checks. Coffee dyed pages out of appointment books, invoices. The ledgers were already dark. I didn't coffee dye them. And then I took coffee dyed papers and did a lot of labels. And then I went and digging in even my darkest, grungiest coffee papers that I have made in the past. And I was like, the grungier the better. I've got some coffee dyed cardstock cards. This is the inside of a paperback that's natural. That's naturally that old. I love that. Some pages out of a book that is really, really yellowed. Coffee dyed some music papers, some more calendar books, book pages from dictionary. This is a book from Eli Lilly that I pulled some pages out. That is the old drug company stuff. I even did some old recipe student answer sheet for a science test. That is out of the Eli Lilly book, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, just grabbed a bunch of old book pages, recipes that are hand typed, a little bit of cardstock. I took some coffee, financial information pages. Let's see. Anyway, I just went through a mess of book pages and coffee dyed all of this. And then I went through, because when I coffee dye, I have to make like a day out of it, because it's a really messy process. So when I do it, I do a lot of it. Let's see, I hand cut a bunch of tag bases in a, I use, what is it? This smooth craft stock paper. It's all, when I do grunge, I like this one. I also coffee dyed a bunch of index cards, but even though this brand that I use, I'm sure it's the cheap ones from like the Dollar Tree, is that they don't hold, even if you put a little bit of baking soda in there, it still doesn't hold the lines. I can barely see the top pink line on that one, but otherwise it fades out. And then I have some old Rolodex, a stack of Rolodex cards, so I coffee dyed them. And then now the big index cards, they held their lines, so I like that. Like I said, hand cut a bunch of tags. Found some stuff in my leftover stock that I could use. These, of course, will have to be decorated, but I made library pocket end cards, and they're all grunged up. Some more pre-cut cardboard, brown envelopes. That envelope I purchased somewhere, and then I took some packaging paper and I made some of my own envelopes out of them. I can grunge them up with some ink. Another thing that brought me to going this direction was I found this little envelope in an old book and didn't have anything in it, but I just thought, that's an inspiration. I want to kind of go this style, so like this goes with all of this, and then my little tags, all of this kind of goes the same direction. So I went through the rest of all my coffee dyed papers and stuff and found, like I said, the grungiest of all of them. And so what I did here was I already started signatures. I've got 4 of them here, and I just stuck an envelope in here to remind me that I want to put an extra envelope in each one in some way or other. But I've just got great bases to work with. You know, I took 2 envelopes and hinged them together as a page. I've got some of my old, yeah, mine went blank. Ledger, thank you. Calendar pages, all of this is just hand coffee dyed. Envelopes. But everything in here is grungy and coffee dyed, and I think it gives me a wonderful basis. There's a paper sack. So that's where all of these ideas came from, playing with these. The other one's somewhere under. But that's just how my mind works, is I'm just fix something and then all of a sudden I'm inspired, and there's the other one. And it takes me and just down a rabbit hole is what I call it. So went down that rabbit hole, and so I have, and some of this may change. I haven't even thought about the cover. I'm one of those, I'm very, well, I don't want to say artistic, but the way my artistic side works is I can just go off in one direction and stay there for a while, and then all of a sudden I can like want to do 4 different things at once. And but what I'm learning over time is the way I make journals. Sometimes I'm inspired by the cover and I start there, but most of the time now it seems to help me not have to like adjust and fix things as much when I just start with an inspiration, start creating things to go with it, and then, you know, like I've got my signatures basically there, but I'm not going to bind them in a cover yet, because the way I am is I may decide that, oh, I want to take this page out and sew around the whole thing. It's hard to sew on it once it's in the book. It's not impossible, But it's a lot easier to pull pages out to do things on as your creative juices are flowing and you want to go. That way I don't feel like I'm hindered in any way. So that works for me. I don't know if that will help any of y'all who are just getting started. But I know when you're first getting started, it can be very confusing because you've got, say, 42 different YouTube channels that you're following, and every one of them tells you this is how you do this, this is how you do that. But I'm not saying anything bad about that, because they're just saying this is how I do it. And I just feel like I need to let y'all know that there is no rules. That's what I love about junk journaling, is there's no rules. Your creativity can flow. It doesn't run into walls. As you play and you make things, then you realize what works best for you. So try different things, try different ways. Like if you followed somebody and you put the whole book together before you decorate it, and that works for you, that's wonderful. I've worked that way, but also I find where I run into like, dang, I wish I hadn't sewed that signature in yet. That way I can take this page out and do, you know, some other things to it, and it's a lot easier to work on when you can pull the page out. So I like to work that way. And then what I do is when I'm finally satisfied, that what works best for me is when I'm finally satisfied with everything, then I'll make my cover so I can measure. And once, you know, this is still kind of fat, but I haven't done anything to it, and it's probably going to double in size by the time I get through with the way that I decorate. That it may be like, have to have like a 4-inch spine on it when I get through. But that way I don't have to take things out that I really wanted to keep in there, because the spine of my book that's already made is now telling me you can't put that in there. You don't have enough room. And so that's kind of disappointing to me. So that way now I've just gotten to where I make my spine after I'm finished with the inside of my journal the way that I want it. And I let it determine the size of my spine. And so I hope that helps y'all. But I thought I would kind of give y'all an idea into how I get started, and how this one has just given me these ideas to take off from there. So I just start pulling out things, and then, you know, I coffee dyed a bunch of stuff, and I have all kinds of ephemera and stuff everywhere that I can work with. It's all in the dark browns colors. I may one day, but as of right now, I don't do digitals. I think they're wonderful, but I also kind of like the challenge of finding and buying things and dyeing things and making them work. So, like my little haul to Hobby Lobby with Tim Holtz stuff on clearance. You know, I can use all of those. I can use these, you know, all these little labels. And of course, you know, my inks and everything else that I picked up. But I just started kind of looking at things and putting things together and giving me ideas of what I want to use. And then it's just, you can go nuts is what you can do. But anyway, I'm going to, for the first time, start filming me in the process of making a journal. In the past, all I've been doing is showing y'all videos of a flip through, and I'm trying to get more comfortable talking to you on the camera. And I've also had a few people comment and asking me about some of the things that I've done in some of these journals, and could I show them how I did it. And I thought, well, yes, I'd be happy to. So let me grab it over here. Hang on. So this one right here, I've gotten a lot of comments on. And what they were asking me about is right here. How I made this. And I thought, you know, it wouldn't be hard to come on here and set up the process to show everybody who might be interested on how I created this little folio that I actually glued into the front of the book, but I left it open in the back where you can actually have something back there. But this opens out here. I'm sorry, I've got all this tucked up here on it under everything. And this pocket full of ephemera here. You've got a little tag in here and here, that pocket. And then here is a pocket. And then you flip this open. And in here is pockets and little tucks. And here is a big pocket. You've already seen this one. And then you flip this one up. And then it's got an upside down pocket here with things in it. And then here you have a little pocket here on the front. And then you've got these angled pocket here. And an angled pocket here. So you have stuff back here, in here, in here. And then all of that folds right back up like that. And this goes over here, wrap around there, and keep a little clip on that. But anyway, that's how it works. And I've had a few people ask me about it, and I thought, well, maybe I will come on and start trying to do a little bit of showing of what I do as I do it. So I appreciate y'all, and I hope you look forward to seeing me start on this new journal over here. And I appreciate y'all very much. Please like and subscribe and share. And y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.